On Christmas of 1990, Tim Berners-Lee finished writing the final line of code for the World Wide Web, the first web browser in history. In 1993, the internet carried 1% of all the information flowing through telecommunication. But by 2007, it was carrying 97% of all communicable information on the planet. And today, virtually any piece of information that exists on the internet. But this begs the question, has this explosive abundance of information resulted in a more informed populace? Or is the internet actually just making us more stupid? To answer this question, I want to talk about the nature of abundance. You see, abundance is a paradox, where environments of abundance are bad for the median consumer, but extremely good for a small number of conscious ones. The problem is that average consumers are doomed to the tyranny of instinct. But meanwhile, the consumers at the top, the deliberate ones, they're propelled by unlimited access to nutritious information. I think the best metaphor is health, where obesity rates and the number of people in incredible shape are both rising. This is what I call the paradox of abundance, where you have health on the x-axis, people on the y-axis. And you'll see that in environments of scarcity, you have a bell curve, where some people don't do that well, most people do average, and then a small number of people do very well. But you'll see that markets of abundance look different, where the median person, they get hurt. But if you look to the right side of the x-axis, you'll actually see a rise in the number of people who are ultra healthy because of food abundance, or ultra smart because of information abundance. And the point of this video is to get you to the right side of that purple line instead of the left hump. But what does this graph have to do with the internet? Well, it turns out that information and food are near perfect metaphors. For starters, we already use terms like food for thought, or I need to digest that idea, or she has a thirst for knowledge. And here's a story that outlines why this metaphor works so well for me. During a trip to Michigan one time, I pulled off the highway during a road trip to stop for coffee. And the coffee shop that I walked into advertised a sugar-filled Red Bull cream-free smoothie on the door. I was like clenching my mouth in disgust as I entered the coffee shop. That's not what I want in the morning. And unsatisfied with the menu of processed food, I said, nope, not gonna eat anything. And so I ordered only a black coffee. But when I returned to my car, I looked around the strip mall parking lot and I saw 13 restaurants in front of me. All of which, every single one of them, were fast food chains, such as Taco Bell and Little Caesars. And the parking lot was full of restaurants, but there was not a single healthy option. You see, I think that Americans are overweight, not because of scarcity, but because of abundance. But at the same time, though, wealthy and health-conscious Americans have never been in better shape. And it's the same thing with information on the internet. I'm struck by how healthy the food is in these big coastal cities such as New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. It's gotten so much better. The healthiest people I know control their diets with surgical precision too. They have access to state-of-the-art workout facilities, wearable health technologies, and fresh foods to match their dietary goals. And then they walk around with six-pack abs and arms like the Incredible Hulk, while they walk with the can't-lose swagger of Conor McGregor at a UFC fight. And in theory, you'd think that in a world of information abundance, like the one that the internet has provided us with, you'd think that that would bring the best information to people and result in humans who are smarter and healthier. And according to economic theory, competition should benefit consumers by improving quality, where the more competition, the better. And practically, curation platforms, they would wade through millions of posts every single day and highlight only the best of the best, the most nutritious information. But that's not what happens at all. On most platforms, low nutrition content is the easiest to find and the most likely to be consumed, just like that strip mall in Michigan. So is the internet making us smarter or stupider? Well, it turns out both. Because the internet increases variance in outcomes. There's both more good and more bad. And one of the most glaring examples of this is the news. Attacked by the cutthroat competition of the daily news cycle, the news suffers from Gresham's law, a finance concept which states that bad money drives out good money until only bad money is left. Gresham's law can explain why the median consumer now reads low-quality information online too. On the internet, low-quality content drives out high-quality content, and that's why online recommendations tend to appeal to base-level desires, and the articles with the most clicks tend to be polarizing and emotionally jarring too. Take Twitter. It's both good and bad. On the side of the good, it's the bedrock of my social and intellectual life. It's a place to make friends, to raise your ambitions, and to connect directly with people at the top of their fields. But then there's things like the Explore tab, which is one of the most important news sources in the world, even though it's filled with junk. According to one estimate, somewhere between 92 and 139 million people see it every month, which is more than CNN, Fox News, or the New York Times. And as the paradox of abundance predicts, it's littered with celebrity gossip and exaggerated political drama, both of which yield a wide reach, but incentivize empty and unnutritious content. Now, you don't have to stop reading the news entirely, but there is a way to spend less energy following the news while actually becoming more informed about society. For example, a large percentage of the time that you currently spend consuming news would likely be better spent reading the work of independent writers and researchers. And while you're at it, find curators who can navigate the waters of information abundance and then make recommendations for you on a regular basis. That's what I do every week with my Friday Finds newsletter, and you'll find the link in the description below. The people you follow online is a leading indicator of your financial success, your health, and your happiness. So embrace personal responsibility. Ignore the junk food, follow the right people, and drink their recommendations deeply. And for another video about how to better consume information, check out my video on how to 10x your learning skills.